Happy Tuesday, friends! Oh my goodness, I can hardly believe we are getting close to the end of our Template Tuesday series. We are on number 12 today of 14 for our annual catalog 2025 Template Tuesday. We are working through the card sketches that are listed in our annual catalog, making those patterns, putting them in our pattern box, and using those as inspiration to create some fabulous cards. So let's get started with today's template number 12. Okay, so here is our annual catalog. We are working through page 2024. Remember, if you need one of our 2025 annual catalogs and you'd love for me to be your demonstrator, you can request a catalog on my blog at stampinqueenbee.com. Okay, so we have done 1 through 11 already of the 14 templates in this series. Today we are working on template number 12, and if you've missed any of the prior ones, you can find them all on my blog or on my YouTube playlist for Template Tuesday 2025. So let's get started. Let me zoom in here so you can see we're working through number 12. So it's a card template with some fun shapes, and I'm going to show you a couple of ways we can put this together. So let me grab some parts and pieces that we're going to need. You're going to need a shape. I'm calling that our large shape. We're going to need also a medium and small shape and a sentiment. Here is our measurements there. So I know a lot of you like to take a screenshot. Let me scoot this over a tad bit. So you can go ahead and take that screenshot real quick if you need to. And we are just going to use a regular card base for this. So I've just got a basic white card base. And let's just go over this real quick. So we need a large shape. It's somewhere about 3 to 4 inches. The reason I say about in all of our template measurements is because sometimes you might have a shape that's a little bit wider, a little bit taller, and you can still use it for any of these templates. Then our sentiment is about a 2-inch sentiment. We've got a medium shape that's about 1.5 inches and a smaller shape that's about 1 inch. So easy peasy. I'm going to grab some liquid glue here. We've got our card base. And remember, with our patterns that we're going to keep in our pattern box, I use flat adhesive like liquid glue for all of them so that I keep them flat in my pattern box. I can fit more in there, right? So we're just going to kind of center our largest shape right onto our card base here. We're going to take our larger shape, add some liquid glue. It's going to kind of go to the left here. Then our smaller shape will go, or to the right, I guess. Our smaller shape will go to the left. And then our sentiment is just going to go kind of the center and then offset to the right a little bit. And that is really how simple our template is. So let me just stick that on there for us. Maybe like this. That's probably better. Okay, so that just kind of gives you a bit of an idea of this template number 12. We've got our large shape, we've got our sentiment, we've got our 2 other smaller shapes. And that really does look like how our template, our sketch in the catalog on page 24, how that looks. And it doesn't have a number 12. I wrote those just so that we could all stay on track, but you can go ahead and do that as well in yours if you're following along. So I always love to show you an example because we could change this shape if we wanted, right? Like this is one of the foiled frames ephemera pack, and so that is this gold foiled frame shape here. These I just punched some circles out with some of my circle punches and some designer series paper, and then this sentiment comes from that More Messages stamp set. sorry about that reflection, there we go. The more messages, stamp set, and dies. So this is a really great stamp and die set because you have all these occasions of sentiments. You've already got the banners. It's one solid stamp, which is so cool because you can stamp that in one color, have all the sentiments, and die cut them all at one time. The other thing you can do with this die is because they are all sentiment sized, you could just die cut a bunch of these out of like basic white, very vanilla, basic beige, one of those colors, lighter colors, and then use them to stamp any sentiment from other stamp sets right on there, and they're already cut. So if you're like me and don't like to do the banner edges, they never come out right when I do it. So I love die cuts, die cut banners. So you can die cut and have a whole bunch of those different banners and ovals ready to go. Just keep them in a little tray or a little box or envelope, and you have some sentiment strips ready to go. So let me put that aside, and then let me bring in and show you my other example for template number 12, which is this one here. So this is actually using the Impressions of Bloom. So there is a die that is this kind of wider oval, right? This is a little bit skinnier of an oval. And then all I did was die cut it out of crushed curry, and then I ran it through an embossing folder, added my sentiment. These are two stamped images. So if you don't want to use a shape or a die cut, these are stamped images here that I die cut, and those could be in place of those two shapes there. So just gives you an idea of a couple of other ways to use our templates. This is kind of the example, but it can turn into something completely different and wowy, right? I also added, of course, a couple of bling. Those aren't in the sketch, but I think bling, you can never go wrong with that, right? So that is template number 12. Let me swing back over here. Wow, that was a quick one. I don't know about you, but sometimes we need a quick and easy card, right? And so these templates are a great way that we can use them in inspiration when we can't think of something to do, when we're wanting to use up scraps, or when we need just a quick and simple card. They are awesome for that. So I'll see you next week for template number 13. We have just 2 more weeks left of this series. It's been so much fun hearing from each of you that have messaged me or comment on these videos, have shared some of your projects. I love seeing your pattern boxes that you're creating that get filled with all of these fun pattern templates that we can use in our crafting. I know you're enjoying this as much as I am, and I'm so glad. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next week.